So the man came at me with sex play. I'm not talking to everybody because everybody might not even understand what sex play is. That's the word. That's when you talking that backdooria to a man. The man came at me with sex play, and I tried to warn him. I tried to tell him, you can't play with me like that. So I'm realizing the camera's on me. It's a lot on the line. It's a lot on the line. But he's trying to act like he a man. I bet my life and safety he wasn't a man when I asked D to move and basically sat in his lap. Because if you walk up on a man like that, you could get your eye poked out. You can get sucker punched. You can get all kinds of things done. Look, I would never walk up on a man like I walked up on dude. I knew he was bumping his gums. I knew nothing was going to happen how I walked up on him. But except for like when you arguing with a female. Because that's all he did.
Anton Daniels did say, let's go outside, let's take it outside. But he could have just been bullshitting. A lot of people think he was bullshitting. A lot of people think he wasn't actually going to do anything. Anton Daniels is a self-confessed nerd. He said it himself. He's a nerd. He's not one to really get into altercations. So it's very likely that Anton was chatting a whole load of garbage when he said, let's take it outside. Did Anton Daniels really want to fight? In his heart of hearts, did he really want to fight? I'm not so sure. But let's continue.
Because that's all he did was yap after he backed up. Because when I first sat down, I was right up on him. Then after that, he kept yapping. A little bit after that, because I kept telling him, I don't do that dick sucking shit. He kept yapping. So I'm like, all right, say I suck dick again. He folded. That was my out. That was my out. I was like, this is all smoke and mirrors after this. Because I don't know why people who understand life couldn't see. The man was too scared to take his glasses off. He was froze. He just was yapping, like when you arguing with your girlfriend. The man, look, we're not talking no hypotheticals. I ain't gonna say what I would have did. I heard the man said I was shaking. Okay, if I was shaking, I bet you didn't say that sex play to me again. So I ain't no tough guy. I ain't got time for that. I had a production in Vegas this week where I was on stage joking and singing. I'm the entertainer. But he has mastered a wickedly brilliant way to get people to clickbait what he's doing. And it's a very dangerous way to live. It's a dangerous way to live because the things he did during this week, he really played himself. Because he has nothing else to do but talk crazy and act like he's doing this and act like he's doing that. Homie,
Well, that, you know what's
thanks for not beating me up. That's all I got to say. Thanks for not beating me up, dude. All right.
Yeah, I'm glad it didn't happen too, because that 30-day ban, then the only place they would have been able to go hear about it really was at his, you know what I mean, on his page, really.
Corey is a middle-aged man. You know, you can't be fighting on the internet. I mean, we're not children. Come on. It doesn't make sense to fight on the internet. I know people were expecting it. I know people were hoping for it. But let's be fair, it's not sensible to see two grown men fighting. Two grown men. Corey's got like adult children. So yeah, I definitely respect Corey for, you know, calming down and actually chilling out. Corey's from the streets. He says it all the time. You know, obviously he's got into altercations in his previous life, you know what I mean? But there comes a time when you have to grow up and you need to put those childish games aside because it doesn't benefit you. If it's gonna mess up the money, if it's gonna mess up your platform, it doesn't make sense to fight. It doesn't make sense to fight at all.
It really was at his, you know what I mean, on his page, really.
Whatever would have happened, it would have happened if he was man enough to stick to his conviction of what he came here for. His conviction of what he came here for was to try and catch me off my square. And, you know, I'ma tell him and any advocate of him, and of course the people that root for what we doing up here, I'm gonna tell you this. Why don't you think what he did worked?
I mean, it's a few reasons.
Why didn't it work? What he tried to do, why don't you think it worked? Craig, I would love to hear what you got to say about that.
Well, here's the thing, right? First of all, because we're comedians, so we think abstract. So we don't hear words the same way everybody else hears words. We don't experience situations in the same way. So what he took advantage of initially was you were coming from an honest place. You were really trying to have an honest intellectual dialogue.
They said I disrespected him when I said he was kissing white people ass, and he was exactly kissing white people ass. And to this day, he still has never said nothing about the contribution the Caucasian male has made to the downfall of this nation.
Right.
And he said, I'm not going into that.
He
said it, and people forget about that. They forget that he never answered that question.
Right.
I'm sitting up here asking questions. This man coming at me with some dick sucking shit.
Right.
I'm glad that he didn't have the courage to say it when I stood on it. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I didn't have to call the lawyer in the morning and take that retainer over there, and I don't expect everybody to understand that. It's a lot of people ain't never had to give a lawyer $10,000 at one time. But that's what they start at if you really want a chance to be heard in the courtroom.
But when he say he studied you, he knows this. Like, we comedians, we got egos as far as like we used to people sitting down and listening to what the fuck we got to say. So his strategy was to invalidate you. So no matter what you would have said, he was going to disregard it because he knew that would get you in a space like, nigga, what? So you
what? No, what'd get me in a space if you start sex playing me?
Right.
Because I wasn't there until I didn't stop. Like, fuck what we talking about. Hey, nigga, I don't do that dick sucking shit.
I believe I made a video about this a few days ago, how the black community, we are extremely homophobic. Now, me, I've elevated. You know, I come from South London. I grew up in the 90s and the 2000s, and naturally, society was extremely homophobic. My environment was extremely homophobic, but I got older and I elevated, I matured, I transcended that mentality. And so for me personally, I've moved on from homophobia. You know, I've moved on. Obviously, I'm still going to laugh at these jokes. I'm still going to laugh at it because, come on, guys, I grew up in a different era, you know. Sometimes I might say something that people may perceive to be homophobic, but really, I'm no homophobe. But a lot of people, especially African Americans, especially people of Corey Holcomb's age, are still holding on to that masculinity. And again, I'm not here to disparage Corey or to say that's the wrong way to go about things, because homosexuality within the black community, within the African American community, is tied to many different things. Allegedly, some people say it's tied to butt breaking during the transatlantic slave trade, when, you know, in order to get the slaves to do what you want, these white slave masters would essentially, I'm not going to say these words because I don't want to get banned off YouTube, but they would treat their black slaves in very odd, peculiar ways, if you know what I mean. And so homosexuality within the black community is something that's frowned upon. It's something that's looked down upon. Now, of course, a lot of black people are coming out of that, are walking away from that. But of course, people like Corey Holcomb, who comes from the hood, who grew up in the hood, who grew up with that mentality, it still affects him. So naturally, when a guy comes to him and says, suck my D, you're sucking the D of black men, naturally, that's going to piss him off. Even me, just like I said, I've transcended that mentality. But if a black man came to me and said that, that's beef. You're taking a piss. I'm going to get angry. I'm going to throw up these fists. And I'm a small guy. I'm a skinny guy. But guess what? I'm not just going to sit around and take it. So I understand Corey's mentality. There are certain things you just cannot say to another man, let alone a black man, you know? And for Anton Daniels to have the balls to actually say that. Yeah, he was taking the piss and he was trolling and he was trying to get a reaction. Literally, I saw a live stream of this guy and he said, I'm about to make $1 million off Corey. So Anton is a very smart man. He didn't need to use those words, but hey, that's the game.
What we talking about? Hey, nigga, I don't do that dick sucking shit. I don't play like that. I don't know people who play like that. I'm talking about, it ain't nowhere where I'm from. I never seen whole shit like that before. I never saw nobody do nothing like that before.
But in the debate world, is called baiting, opposition. The whole purpose of it is to invalidate your credibility.
So in the debate world, or whatever you want to call it, I guarantee you this, the debate will stop if you tell a man brought up in ghetto America who don't move like that anything about dick sucking. The debate is out the window. It's what's up?
Right.
What's up?
You know what it reminds me of? Remember when Dennis Rodman was in the league and he was dressing crazy? And, you know, I forget who it was. I think it was Alonzo Mourning. And he kept slapping his ass. And Alonzo was like, you know, kind of mad. And he was yelling from the sideline, you a sick man. You a sick man. Because Dennis Rodman knew, okay, this is his limit and this is my limit. My limit on this particular thing is a little further. So let me try to take him in deep waters. He was just trying to take you in deep. But you caught it, though, so it didn't work.
Yes.
But Dennis Rodman also was in front of cameras.
Right.
He knew
this is what we have to make sure is understood. Some people, when they in front of cameras, they understand this is basically court gear.
Right.
This is court gear.
Yeah.
It's proof of what happened. I can't respect all that in front of the camera stuff.
No.
I respect the work you put in elsewhere.
Yeah.
Right.
But he don't want your respect.
He ain't gotta have my respect. But I'm just saying, if you want, look, I am not ashamed of my masculinity. All my young guys out there who watching this, they're gonna try to make you think something's wrong with you if you have a line that a batty boy cannot cross.
See, I'm from South London, you know, a strong Jamaican influence. And of course, batty boy means, I do apologize if I've offended anyone, but of course it means, you know, a gay guy. That's where the term comes from, the Caribbean. And so, yeah, just like I said, I've transcended that mentality, but all my life I was surrounded with that language. That's why even now, sometimes some of the content I make, some people don't like it because they think, oh, it might be a racist or it might be homophobic. But guess what, guys? I'm a black guy. I'm a black guy. I'm a young black guy. I was surrounded by that all my life. So yeah, just like Corey said, if you come from a certain environment, naturally, you're going to be a little offended by certain language. It's a natural thing. So just because you do that, it doesn't make you gay. Just because you do that, it doesn't necessarily make you homophobic. Now, there are extremely homophobic people out there who are constantly talking about gay people. And, you know, even I can say that there's a good chance that person might be dealing with their own issues in regards to sexuality. Because like me, I don't worry about gay people. I don't give a, respectfully, they're not in my head. I don't care. But if you're the type of individual or you know someone who's constantly talking about gay people, I mean, you can't help but wonder what the hell's wrong with you, bro? Like, it's not that deep. So I understand where Corey's coming from. You know, you can have an opinion. You can have a certain opinion on a group of people without making you either gay or a homophobe. I completely agree with that. But let's continue.
And that a batty boy cannot cross. If you have a line where you like, don't play with my sexuality like that, they're going to make it seem like you're hateful or you're something. You're not hateful. You are a man. You built like that. You're supposed to fold it up as much as you can in this crazy world. But if somebody is testing your manhood like that, man, I'm telling you, man, I don't care how well composed you are. We still animals.
All day.
Don't play with mine, whoever you are. So some people want to say, well, that's all somebody got to do to set you out. I guess. I ain't from that world. Where I'm from, people don't go there with you.
Right. But he had the whole place set up, man. I was like, okay. He, another thing he depended on, which was error and logic, is called false equivalency. He understands how we was raised, the era we was raised in. He really did study. He understands, the type of environment we came from. So he knows that people are going to take whatever they see and equate it to something because they're not going to have enough understanding of what's going on to make an appropriate decision. So he knows that there's going to be some false equivalency. People are going to think this happened and this didn't happen. And it's nothing. Anybody that's thinking, that has a logical mind, knows the play. They laugh at it.
I can't give him credit for shit.
Yeah.
Because I don't care what you studied. When I was in your grill, you did not say it. That's why I told D to move. I'm like, oh, I'm finna bust this motherfucker.
It's real shit.
This motherfucker think I'm joking? And I kept getting him out. So I don't care what somebody say. It's the glasses. When you wear glasses, people think you smart. But I think the people that wear glasses are smart are the dumbest people in the world. They put a man on TV, Dr. Fauci. This man had on glasses. Everybody thought he knew what he was talking about, and they did what he said. He gone with the money and everything. But the motherfuckers like me who was looking at Dr. Fauci like, man, fuck that motherfucker. We always the ones who they treat us like we don't know what we doing. We know what we doing. You can't come to me with no script about you got to do this if you want to survive. When I've been surviving out here without doing what they say ever since I was probably in 5th grade, and I realized I ain't fucking with what these people talking about. About 5th, 6th grade, that's when I realized, oh, this all sucker shit.
Yeah.
So motherfuckers with glasses can fool you. I studied. You didn't study me, because when I got up on you, you failed the test. And you'll fail it every time if a man in your face. I know it. It was broken down in a lot of ways. Only thing I didn't like when people was like, he woke up on me. I don't walk up on men. But if you're not a man, I'll walk up on you. So if you speaking up like somebody did something wrong, it's because you got inadequacies. Because I ain't walk up on you. I walked up on that peon. And we'll walk up on him again, but I know I'll never see him again face to face. I ain't gonna never see him.
No.
We asked why his plan didn't work. You know why his plan didn't work? And I've told y'all before. I'm a chosen soldier of God. His plan didn't work. He thought he was gonna get me. It didn't work. He didn't have the courage to make his plan work. All he had to do when I was right there, say I sucked dick again. He didn't have the courage to follow through with his plan. I got bitches with more courage than him. I got a bitch who was talking to me crazy. Shut your bitch ass up, Corey. I was, hey, don't say that. Shut your bitch. I said, say bitch ass again. She said, shut your bitch ass up, nigga. After we wiped her lip off from what was dripping out of it, we was fucking again. And I told her, I can't really be around you no more because I can't control you.
Well, to be honest, I understand exactly what he's talking about because I remember back in I don't really fight nowadays, but back in the days, I remember in school, you're always going to get that one kid who likes to chat shit, and then you call him out and you tell him if you say that again, I'm gonna knock you out. And he keeps quiet. What was that thing that Charlie Murphy said? Habitual line stepper. There are many, many habitual line steppers in school. I'm sure you guys experienced that too. Guys, you constantly push the line, but when you tell them, you say that again, they decide to back up. That's how it is. That's how it is in society. You have individuals who are willing to say and do whatever until you really test them, and then they decide to back up. It's cowardliness. It's being a sucker. You know, there are many people like that. Anton Daniels definitely dropped the ball there, you know, because he was saying all of that stuff, but then he decided to back up. And to be honest, I do respect him for that because, like I said before, I don't think anyone really wants to see two grown middle-aged men fighting on a podcast. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's pathetic. Let's not stereotype ourselves. You know, let's not cater to what certain individuals want. You know, we need to learn how to stick together and work together. I'm glad they kind of handled it as men, but of course, right now, what we're getting is the aftermath, the epilogue to the you know the main story. I see things in narratives, guys.